We're going to talk to Mansour Shouman now. He's a Palestinian journalist and humanitarian worker who lived in Gaza until March of last year. So, Mansour, what do you make of this? It's not the world of journalism's finest hour, is it? The way the global media has covered the unfolding situation in Gaza. I know they're not allowed in, but nonetheless, they haven't taken up the mantle that we've at Al Jazeera have laid down, the gauntlet that we at Al Jazeera have laid down. Why do you think that is?
I think, Nick, for the past few decades, Israel and its arms around the world have been in control in some way or another of the media that's been broadcasted. They were able to take charge of the narrative, what can be shown on public TV stations, printed on newspapers worldwide, spoken on radio stations. However, Al Jazeera is a relatively new player in that game. It came up 25 years ago. So Al Jazeera, I think, was able to break that narrative. And given that we are now in a world where social media is accessible to everyone to be a reporter if they want to be, for example, from the front lines in Gaza, the world has been able to break free from that narrative, right? People can see with their own eyes, with their own ears, to the person broadcasting what is happening on the ground, whether it be in Gaza or elsewhere. So I think this is the main reason why, for some reason, slowly the international media stations are coming into what's happening into Gaza and telling the story.
Momentum is building now. There is now finally some coverage.
You're right, because they're forced, right? They're forced to do that because people will understand that they will lose credibility in front of the public eyes if they don't talk about what the people see every day on the different social media apps, right? They see the famine, they see the hunger, they see the genocide, and if it's not reported properly on their news channels, then they're going to lose credibility and touch with the people on the ground. So I think that over the last 2 years, Israel has lost a lot of credibility when it comes to their media presence, when it comes to what they try to say to the international media stations, whether it be publicly or through their private media corporations. And it's very important to note, I think what one of your presenters said here is that what they say in English is different from what they say in Hebrew, is different from what they say to different audiences around the world. They are masters and very strategic in how they want to target different people. However, what they did today in the killing of the 5 journalists for Al Jazeera, I think it just killed their whole narrative. Yesterday was all about free press and journalism and getting journalists to talk about what's happening in Gaza. And then the next thing they do is they hit the biggest news corporation broadcasting from Gaza, these 5 young journalists, and the whole world is now talking about them. Okay. And if they're not, they're forced to talk about them.
We're just running out of time, so very brief, if you would. Just speak to a little, if you could, of the bravery of the Al Jazeera journalists on the ground, risking life and limb, and their own lives in this case, to tell the story.
So the reporters in Gaza Strip, they currently live within the limits of hospitals. So in the north, they live within Al-Shifa hospital, for example. When I was in the south, I lived with the journalists in Nasser hospital. So journalists are very close together. They live with their people. They eat what the people eat. They drink what the people drink. They have less access to see their families because they want to keep their families safe. That's why they stay away from them. They are overrun by requests for help and support for people to tell their stories in front of the cameras. People don't want to remain behind as numbers. They want to be known. They want to be told. So a journalist right now is the main contact person for the person to the outside world. That's where people head to all the time. I think that these are heroes, and like Anas and the people said, the coverage will continue.
Indeed, it's astonishing bravery, isn't it? Mansour, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for putting this all in perspective for us. Mansour Shouman here in the studio. Thank you.